364 days after Anders Lee injured his ACL against the New Jersey Devils, he scores his first career hat trick tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets at UBS Arena, virtually in front of UBS Arena. I was just there for the game, but now I'm back. I'm Chris Hennessy for WFUV Sports, and it was a great win for the Islanders, as good as it's been all season long. A 6-0 drubbing of the Columbus Blue Jackets. It was Jonas Korpisalo in net for Columbus, and he had a tough go of it. They did not put Merzlikins in at any point, but it was tough go for Korpisalo, and another shutout for Ilya Sorokin, his sixth, appropriately enough, of the season, and he gets the first star of the game, and well-deserved. But the post game was all about the captain, Anders Lee. Certainly a sentimental game. They will have one tomorrow on the 1-year anniversary of his injury, but the hat trick comes tonight, his 17th, 18th, and 19th goals of the season. He's up to 205 all-time goals in his Islander career and NHL career, of course. And there were so many great sound bites from the press conference. I'm going to start with this one from Anders himself about the mental side of getting through this leg injury and how he's feeling now. And why he really hasn't complained about it, because everybody's going through something a little bit similar.
Look, everyone deals with stuff, so I'm not the only one dealing with an injury or a lingering injury or whatever it is. So it's just what you would expect, I think, without getting too much into it, really, because a lot of guys are putting themselves on the line every night. I'm not the only one playing with bumps and bruises.
Of course, downselling it at ACL injury is certainly something significant, but Josh Bailey noticed that Anders has not complained at all about it, and that's something that has stuck out to one of his fellow captains.
Yeah, I mean, like Pedro was talking about, I mean, you wouldn't know with him. He doesn't complain. He just works, shows up every night, gives his best effort. So it's great to see him get rewarded. Like, he's our leader. We all look up to him, and he's got so much respect in that room. It's great to see him get rewarded.
The longest tenured Islander there, and as I mentioned, an alternate captain on the team. And when Trotz got here, obviously there was no captain. There was a vacancy in that role from John Tavares' departure. And I think that this is super interesting. Barry Trotz going a little bit more in depth than we've ever gotten in his 4 years here, about how he came to the conclusion that Anders Lee was the captain. He was not an alternate captain under Doug Waite and Garth Snow, but he was made the captain before the first game of the season in 2018 and has been that ever since. Now Trotz kind of delves into what went into that decision and who made that decision.
Well, I think Anders is his voice has a lot of I'll say it has a lot of merit in the room. When he speaks, the guys know it's genuine. They know that he cares. When I first got here, and I didn't know very many of the Islander players at all, other than coaching against them. And I called every one of them when I got here, and tried to get a little bit of background on each player. And I usually finished with one of my last questions: if you had to have a captain, because John Tavares was the captain of the Islanders for so many years, who would your vote be? And it was almost unanimous that Anders would be the next guy. So
a little bit longer one there, but certainly very interesting. This was a blowout, complete blowout. It was 4-0 after 2 periods, and the Islanders tacked on 2 more late in the third. Casey Cizikas took 4 penalties. That was really the only downside of this game. Their best penalty killer was in the box, but they went 5 for 5. So nothing to complain about there. And on that 5th penalty, Cizikas was pretty integral in the penalty kill. So when he wasn't in the box, he was doing what he usually does, which was killing off those penalties as well as he can. The Islanders are pretty much completely out of it. They're 20 points out now. But they have 2 games this weekend against Western Conference opponents, one against Winnipeg, that's tomorrow, and Anaheim on Sunday. Tyler will take you through both of those. And I think that, if they can get some wins, the team will really feel good about themselves headed into a big week where they head down to Washington, the team they're chasing, and the Rangers on St. Patrick's Day. 5 straight wins is never a bad thing, even when you're out of it. And to beat Washington and the Rangers in that process would be a nice cherry on top as well. So that's going to do it for me for a little bit now. I will be at that St. Patrick's Day game against the Rangers. But as I mentioned, Tyler taking you through the weekend from UBS Arena. Not from UBS Arena, but virtually. I'm Chris Hennessy from WFUV Sports.